beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of the Getting Over Podcast. It's a podcast where we talk about mental health, the challenge of trauma, but also the art of healing. I'm Ivory, I'm your host, and I'm ready to dive into this week's episode. Let's go. Today's guest is a filmmaker, storyteller, and community builder whose work centers queer identity, culture, and lived experience in a really intentional way. I'm excited to sit with Ronald Hinton, creator of Natives, a YouTube series following a group of unapologetic, queer Native New Yorkers navigating adulthood in the projects of New York City, highlighting real and unfiltered conversations within the LGBTQ+ community, giving voice to stories that often go unheard. He's also the co-founder of Queer Voices New York City, someone who continues to create space for stories that deserve to be seen and heard. Now, speaking of being seen and heard, here is a quick scene from Natives.
So where do you live right now?
I'm on 89th in Amsterdam, Upper West Side.
No fucking way. I'm on 94th and Riverside right now.
Come on, neighbor. That's Money Ave right there. Riverside is nice.
Oh, nice. Check this. I met this dude on Scruff who was looking for a roommate, and I don't even have to pay him. I know. I thought it sounded like complete BS too, but when I met him, I got a good vibe, and it's been okay so far. I mean, I have caught him trying to peep a few times, but he's letting me stay at his house for free and I have my own room.
That worries me on so many levels.
It's fine. I mean, ultimately, if he wants me to suck his dick, I'll suck his dick. He's not that bad looking, and again, free.
Right.
Don't slut shame me.
What?
Your eyes right now are giving slut shame.
My eyes are not giving slut shame. Maybe they were. But listen, your body, your choice.
Thank you.
On a serious note, what if he's a fucking murderer? Or like a psycho?
Honestly, when it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
I like you.
You're cool too. A little judgy though.
So I've been told.
One more?
You said that last time. One more, and that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to have Ronald Hinton.
Hello, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hello, it's me. What's up, my friend? Welcome to Jersey.
Oh, thank you. Listen, excited to be here on this beautiful day.
Listen, I have to say thank you so much for coming because you're one of my first New York guests. And I get nervous because sometimes, I don't know, like I get like in New York, a lot of you guys don't drive. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Listen, I get it. But I was really concerned, like, how are you gonna get here? And I was like struggling. I was like, oh God, I hope he gets it. And when you said you missed the first time, I was like, oh shit. But listen, one thing about you, you came through, you said, oh, there's a alternate and
Right.
you're here.
Listen, I'm a problem solver. I find solutions, and that's the producer in me.
We love that. I'm telling you, we love that. And we need that. I'm telling you, man.
Absolutely. But also, yeah, I think, it was pretty straightforward, but I might have been annoying you with like, hey, is this it? Because I just got to be sure about certain things. I'm like, what? Port Authority is so big. There's so many buses going through there, and the people are not helpful. So
No, at all. No, they're not helpful at all. But listen, you're not annoying me because listen, I like reassurance. I'm honestly a bit of a control freak because honestly, when you have a project, when you have a baby, you want to make sure that's like I want to make sure this is taken care of. I want to make sure that everything goes the way it's supposed to go. And sometimes, obviously, things don't go the way it's supposed to. It's just how my reaction is. The best reaction is no reaction.
Yeah.
But honestly, you being like communicative with me in that way, I appreciate that. So listen, you're good, man. And you're here, and I'm ready to get started, man.
come on, let's do it.
So Ronald, I want to know like who you are, where you from, and how'd you become?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Ronald Hinton, and I am a queer Afro-Puerto Rican native New Yorker. And I grew up in the projects of New York City. I think that is important to my story because it adds to the stories that I like to tell and also what has shaped me. I think growing up, I saw myself reflected in media physically, but I don't feel like I saw the intersectionalities that I exist in media. And so I became a storyteller at a young age. I wanted to act since I was 12, and I took my first acting class when I was 12. And I kept doing that. In college, I started writing, and that led me to feeling like, wait, I actually have stories to tell rather than just being given stories to bring to life through acting. And then that kind of led me to Natives, which led to Queer Voices, which it just kind of kept leading to other things. So that's a little bit about me and getting started in my journey.
Nice. So what was one of the first things you saw that made you want to become a storyteller?
I think that honestly, it was the ABC soap operas. I used to watch, yeah.
Wait, which ones
Oh, I'll be specific. It was All My Children, One Life to Live,
Period.
and General Hospital. Those would they would come on 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m.
Oh, you had time.
I know the times and everything. I think they're still on though. But my grandmother used to love TV. I think that is one way that we really bonded.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch these soap operas with her, and they would come on every day was a new episode, Monday through Friday. And so there was a new story to tell. They were 1 hour long. And so there was these narrative arcs that continued. And I would be kind of fascinated once you really get into it. You know, I know they're over the top, but they're juicy. And the thing is, I love a juicy drama series. People can, you know, shit on it or whatever, but if it keeps bringing me back, and if it's having my mouth or my jaw on the ground, then I will keep coming back for it. And so I would watch these soap operas with my grandmother, and I would find myself mimicking them. And to the point where she would turn around and she would be like, "Can you shut up?" And I would just be like, I wouldn't really realize that I was even doing it, but it was kind of in my head like, oh, this is how I would do it, you know? And that's one of the earliest memories of being like, whoa, I actually like this. And then I remember my dad asking me, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And that was one of the first times I feel I had been asked that. And I was like, I want to be on TV. I used to watch a lot of Disney Channel too. And so I used to do the same with those. And yeah, I just felt like innately in me that this is what I want to do. And luckily I found something. I found an acting class that was free.
We love free.
We love free, absolutely, because I also knew, like, I come from a low income background, so I was when I looked up acting classes and how to become an actor, because when I told my dad that, he was like, well, how do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
And so I had my little LG Rumor flip or slide up phone, so I went on Google and was just like, how do you become an actor? And I was reading a bunch of articles. And when I think about it, I'm just like, wow, I was 12 years old, like looking up how to do something that I'm interested in, which for me, I think that shows like the drive from early on.
Yeah.
And then I knew that if it was expensive, we probably couldn't be able to do it. So I found something free. And I was like, well, all you have to do is bring me. They saw I was committed to it. And then after that, I started to pay for some acting classes for me, and then that kind of continued.
Yeah, because like I love that for you, because I remember as a kid, like I wanted to be an actor. Of course, like listen, Raven-Symoné raised me. So when I'm watching like those shows, it's like my personality is forming and I'm loving it too. But I remember like getting into like those scam programs where it's like, I want you to audition for us, and
Pay.
you know, you did a great job. You're gonna be on Disney Channel, but you gotta pay $500, and I remember just being like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like I didn't have that drive as an actor for me personally in that sense. I remember it just being like, it's just too much, it's too much. But I'm really glad that happened for you though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when I went to my first acting class, I just got bit by the acting bug. Like I knew after the first class, like this is what I want to do. I really love this. And again, it talks about drive, because we would have lines that we have to come back and rehearse, and I would make sure that I came off book. I would be spending my time. I think there's one thing to consider. There were less distractions then, because, you know, we got access to technology at our fingertips now that at that point, I don't feel like it was as accessible. But also it's just something that I felt really passionate about. And so I would make sure that I rehearsed my lines and I came in ready.
Period, as you should. Now, as a child, were you more comfortable in your queerness, or was there like a background of like trying to come out or hiding, anything like that for you?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that I recognized that, you know, I was queer. I think I had a cousin who was queer as well, and she lived with me and my grandma, and her girlfriend lived with us too. And so I knew that it would be okay, because my grandma was fine with them living in our apartment. But I think for me, it was still a thing of accepting it. And it comes back down to environment. And I think while I grew up in New York, I feel growing up in the projects or public housing, there is still kind of a stigma because it's heavily Black and brown. And I think in those communities, there is still a lot of homophobia that is being worked through, and not everyone is like that. Example, my grandmother, but they still have some toxicity within them, I feel. And so I think it was navigating that. Like I knew that it wouldn't be the biggest deal, but for me, still saying it felt like a big deal. But I came out to my grandma at 15 years old, so I was still decently young. And it was when my first boyfriend asked me to be his boyfriend. Mind you, it was through text, but I was so excited. And I was like, well, I have a boyfriend, so I have to tell everyone I'm gay now.
That part. That part. We gotta see that story, but okay. I was 19 in a sense when I told my best friend Steven, shout out to Steven. It was my first semester of college, and I was on Tinder, so I did like the bisexual thing. I don't know if you remember on Tinder, they had like the bisexual thing, but obviously like I'm swimming more for the men. So it's like when I'm doing that, it's like when you're meeting different guys and stuff like that, I'm kind of like, oh, this is like, I like this more than females, obviously. And then like transitioned into like the end of that semester, I met somebody on another app, which we don't say on this podcast, but you know what I'm talking about. And then like obviously like I met somebody and I really appreciated them more to them being in a relationship. And I remember telling my friend Steven, but I didn't tell him about the relationship. I just told him I was pansexual, just to be like, oh, this is like, you know, like before saying gay. And he was like, okay, and.
Right.
And he didn't care. I remember told him and my other friend Brandon that, and that made me feel like a lot secure. But I didn't really come out until I was 23. I came out during Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
That was.
I think a few things. It's like when we get into natives, I'll just drop a little bit about it, but that is one theme that I feel is really prevalent throughout the character of Ricky. Like just this idea of what it's like to be yourself authentically, especially in, you know, these like low income urban environments that you don't always feel the most appreciative or you feel like it is celebrated. And one other nod to natives that is in the episode for people is if there's a scene where Izzy and his grandmother are laying down watching baddies and they're
scene.
eating popcorn. And that scene is drawn from my real life when we're talking about coming out, because I came out to my grandmother after. So my first boyfriend asked me to be his boyfriend while I was about to get in the shower through text. And so I'm like, okay, when I get out the shower, I have to tell my grandma I'm gay because I have a boyfriend. So I come out the shower. My grandma's watching Bad Girls Club in the living room. My grandma was really about that life. And so I am sitting there watching Bad Girls Club with her, and I'm like, hey, I have to tell you something. And she's like, what? And I chickened out and I said, forget it. And I did that like 4 times. And at the 4th time, she's like, what is it? Like, whatever you tell me, it doesn't matter. I love you.
Right.
And at this point, I was like, oh, she knows. Like, and so I was like, all right, I like boys. And she was like, okay. I knew that. I was just waiting for you to tell me. Good night. And then she went to bed. And I was like, okay, that was so weird, but it felt really good too, you know? My first boyfriend, nothing really happened there, but I'm glad for that experience because it did push me to really live in my truth. But that scene does stem from real experience.
The reason why I asked you about your childhood growing up, like coming out, is because I feel like if you know how people have like that fear of like wanting to come out, and sometimes you're not really like understanding like what people are gonna think of me. For me as a kid, like I knew at a young age because I used to watch a lot of media, especially like in the early 2000s of a lot of gay characters. And obviously, listen, we all have our stereotypes. You have the black stereotype, the Hispanic stereotype, and the white stereotype, right? But I remember the gay stereotype. I remember this being around like family or just people around had like the most negative like reaction towards gay people. It's like they're so flamboyant, they're more into girls and stuff like that. Like they're like this and like just too femme. And there's always been like the reaction. So I remember like, I'm different. And I knew at a young age like I'm different, I'm unique and stuff like that. But I was like, I don't know like how people are gonna react to me. So sometimes I always wonder like when you were like about to come out or think about coming out, was that ever an issue by watching the media?
Yeah, I don't know if media was the biggest hindrance for me, or it made me feel like I couldn't come out. I think more so navigating being a storyteller, because I think one privilege of me being a storyteller young, or me being an actor, is I was exposed to queerness early. in terms of like acting classes, teachers, the people who would be in those spaces as well. So I think it was always really fostered to be yourself and to bring yourself to the room, to the space, the role. I think for me, it was really thinking about like being in one box or the other. Like you said, I feel like when you are gay in media, you have to be either super flamboyant or it's really that's almost the only track. Or you can be masculine, but that's rare, I feel like, in media. And then if you are super masculine, then you are like the DL, or just kind of like you're built, and that's really what you're used for, just your body. And so I think it's also, you have to either be like Black presenting, or you have to play a Latino role. You can't be both. But I was like, I'm living at the intersections of all of these things. I'm gay, I have masculine traits, but I also have feminine traits. I'm Latino, but I'm also Black. And so for me, it was like, where do I fit in? Oh, I don't want to choose one box, because that's not where I exist in. I exist in between these. And so for me, it was more so a little bit of a frustration that this is constantly, I'm being pigeonholed. And that was what made me really want to expand that, especially through my own writing.
Now, speaking of your own writing, what was your first piece that you ever wrote?
So I had no desire to really be a writer, honestly. It was when I started writing in my senior year of college. I went to Pace University. I was getting my BFA in acting.
Yes, Pace.
Yes, I graduated from the first year of their acting for film, TV, voiceover, and commercial program. It was exactly what I wanted to do. And in our senior year, we came into our acting class, and they were like, this is going to be a writing class. We were like, what? Like, we didn't sign up for writing. Like, this is an acting program, and this is our senior year. Like, we got to act. And they were like, well, you'll be acting in each other's pieces, but we want to set you up to not wait for opportunities, but create your own. And I really liked that and admired that, because, I think I wouldn't be here without that experience. But when the initial hesitance to it was, well, I don't know what stories that I have to tell. And I think looking back, it was because, again, I saw myself physically represented, but not the intersectionalities that I existed in. So I was like, well, this doesn't exist in media, so why would I tell this story,
Yeah.
But it took me having to like be forced to bring in scenes into class. And I remember one of my first scenes, I actually read this like a week ago. I was hanging out with friends, and I found this, and I had them read it for me. It was the first time I had since that class that I heard people bring it to life. And it's these two friends. It was me and one of my friends from college. And it's a skit where we go into a clothing shop, and we're just being super like, we're being ourselves. Like, and that was one of the first things that I really wrote. But the point is, I brought my full self to that character. And also, I brought who my friend actually was to that character, which, again, is a mixture of both masculine and feminine traits, and just being unapologetically ourselves. And that felt good to me. And I was like, wait, I want to do more of these stories, rather than just act and bring to life people's whatever people write, or traditional kind of, theater pieces, etc. What about the people who look and act like me, and my friends? Like, where are these stories? And at that time, Pose was running. You had Insecure running. And so I would say Pose is probably the best example for queerness and being unapologetic. And so I was like, I want to be a part of these kind of stories. And so writing, that sparked the idea in me, and it made me empowered to be able to feel like I have a voice, and I can be a voice for myself and the people who look and act like me.
Now, being a voice over people, obviously you brought a voice to your show Natives. Now, can you explain to me like the process of how it got started, and like how it became what it is today?
Yeah, sure. Natives is such a journey. We've been working on Natives, or I've been working on Natives since 2018. I wrote the first scene, of what is now Natives at the time. Before, it was called like Between Me and You.
Not Between Me and You.
Yo. And it was a scene of Izzy and Ricky. And Izzy walks into his apartment building And he's had a crush on Ricky for a long time. He had just came back home from a night out with his friend. So he's tipsy and he walks in to the lobby. There's 2 doors. There's a front door, then the lobby door. He walks in, he sees Ricky standing waiting for the elevator. He immediately tries to turn around, but he drops his keys. And so Ricky notices because he turns around. He's like, shit, I have to go in now. So Izzy goes in, waits in the lobby with Ricky until the elevator comes. They speak a little bit, and Ricky's asking Izzy how his night was, and he's thrown a little bit off guard because Izzy's like, wait, we don't really talk like this. Like, you're my cousin's friend. And so Izzy has a little bit of liquid courage, and he's like, it was good. You should come out with us next time. And Ricky replies, as Izzy's walking out on his floor, you know, I'm more of a one-on-one kind of guy. And Izzy's like, well, like, what?
Right.
Is that hinting at something?
Right.
But the elevator door just closes there. So that was the scene. And I didn't know where it was going, but I really liked the idea of queerness in public housing. I feel like it was a little messy because that was Izzy's cousin's best friend, even though I hadn't drawn out the world yet, but I just knew that part. And so that is how it started. And then in 2020, the George Floyd protests were happening, Black Lives Matter movement, and I was really trying to figure out how can I personally make a difference for our community. You know, like I was going out and I was protesting, but I didn't feel like it was enough. I didn't feel like I was doing enough. And so I was really sitting down like thinking, what am I able to do? Because this feels so big and I feel so small in all of it. But I have a voice, like I can do something. And so I was like, wait, well, I'm a storyteller, you know, and storytelling is the most powerful tool for change, and also how people view individuals and specific cultures. You know, if someone in China, for example, has never been to New York City, they only have one representation of New York City, and that is through media. And so whether that's true or false, they have no idea because they're seeing it as the truth. And so I think it's our duties as storytellers to really write from our lived experience, because otherwise people are going to, whether that's true or not, and others, that'll shape and inform how people think. And I want to be a part of being on the right side of that and telling authentic stories, because we've seen time and time again when other people tell our stories and it just is not
accurate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're creating conversations. And I think that's something that we need to do more often. Because at the same time, like I said, for me, growing up, I'm watching like shows of just like Heated Rivalry as an example. And like, I loved the show. I thought the show was really good, you know? But representation, why am I just seeing, for me personally, just more white characters? Even the other movie Boys and Love, Simon, you know? I'm seeing all these things, but I'm also like looking at like Moonlight as an example for like somewhat of a queer representation, even though the movie was okay to me, but it wasn't given to me. So for me, I feel like with your show, when I started watching it, it made me start to realize like, wow, like I saw myself in Izzy so much.
I love that.
Because let me tell you, so for those that haven't seen the show yet, it's really good, by the way, guys. Izzy just came back home from California, and literally it was 2 years and he's back in New York.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about that story when I'm watching it is that I was in LA for 2 years and I came back home, and I literally remember watching, because first of all, by the way, I'm going over the place. When I literally like found like their TikTok, I saw like a scene of you in the subway, like that famous scene of you just like with your bags. And I was like curious, like, okay, like who's this light skin? Like, let's just find out. So we're looking at it, and then I'm watching it, and literally like I just clicked the YouTube link and I started watching it. And then remember just seeing like literally like seeing the scenes, you see your cousin, Abuela, and everybody else. And I remember you said like, oh, like in your scene as Izzy, like I just came back home and I fucked up. And I felt that because I felt the exact same way. Damn, how is it I've been in LA 2 years and I fucked up? As a queer male, and I felt everything you said, even though I wanted more. I'm not gonna hold you. I was waiting for like, damn, I want to see like more of like what's gonna happen. But I really like personally felt that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the beauty of storytelling and the beauty of specificity and how it can relate to people, because while I never moved to LA. This story is really based on my experience going to college, and being in a predominantly white institution. I feel like that definitely shaped a lot of what the story is and why I decided to write it, because this is also a healing journey for me, honestly. I think that the reason that I wrote Natives and started it was because I was ashamed from being from public housing. You know, whenever I saw representations of public housing in media, it was negative. They were going to arrest people. They were either like gangs, they were doing drugs, they got guns. And for me, it was like, well, I come from this place, you know, and I'm not like this. And so my initial instinct is to distance myself from it. Like, I don't want to be like this. And then also now I'm writing off everybody this way. And then going to a predominantly white institution didn't help either, because I see the privileges they have, and going to my friends' lake houses and all of this. And now I'm thinking like, wow, this is the other side. And I'm like, well, why can't my family be like this or have this? And I mean, it took me to really realize that that is systemic as well. Like, they have a head start from us. But also, the media really painted a bad picture of where I came from. I didn't get to consume positive representations of my neighborhood. So when I came back to public housing from college, because I was planning on getting an apartment, and I was like, I don't want to go back to the projects. But then I was like, wait, so I have to go back to the project and pay $1,500 a month. And I was like, well, I live 2 blocks down from Central Park. Like, this is not the worst place to be. And so when I came back and really reintegrated myself into that community, I was really reminded, one, how much love exists in this space. Like, so many people in public housing, especially in New York and NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority, they like raise generations there. And again, it's systemic. Sometimes it's because, you know, people are stuck in the cycle of poverty, but also New York is expensive. So this is one of the genuinely most affordable ways to live. And so coming back, another realization that I had was, it's not necessarily the people like who are here. Like, I think the people, yes, some people can be complacent and be comfortable with their with how they're living, but others, in a way, are dreamers. So many more are dreamers. They're ambitious. They want, you know, bigger things. And also, this is just the situation that they're in, but that does not define them. And so that is at its core where the story of Natives came from, where, you know, a story about returning to your roots and realizing that where you come from does not have to define where you go. And so being specific in that, in writing this, it was him going to LA is a metaphor of me going to college and coming back, and that specificity, because I had to do it. It couldn't be him going to college. I guess it could have, but we had to age him up, and so he just went to LA. That specificity is really interesting, because there is a saying amongst writers that the more specific you are, the more universal your writing is or your work is. And so to hear that from you, that this literally is almost a replication of an experience you had, is so interesting to me, and a testament to that saying.
I'm Izzy. But the thing is, I ain't ghost my friends. That's the only thing that's different.
Listen, we need some drama, you know?
I get it. I get it. But I have to say, like, honestly, too, I'm so obsessed with your friend character, Kai. I am so, like, interested to see, like, the storyline of Kai.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am. For some reason, I don't know why. You know what it is? Kai drew to me for some reason.
Yes.
Like, obviously, like, when you're in, like, the bodega and whatever not, and, like, oh, you get this, whatever, snap or whatever not. And then Kai's ignoring you. And then I'm like, okay. And then Kai's like staying on business, like, no, like, why are we literally like, I haven't seen you, we haven't talked or whatever not. But when it transitioned into episode 2, that's when I started to see a little bit of like, Kai, like, is like strong. Kai didn't get the promotion, unfortunately. And then I'm seeing then like eventually after that, like Kai's mom unfortunately passed away from 6 months ago. It's her birthday. And then you trying to find a new job, you meet a coworker. The coworker gets drunk, and then like you're taking care of him, but you're supposed to be there for Kai. But eventually, you showed up.
Spoiler alert.
I'm sorry. I'm spoiling this whole show.
We'll put a spoiler alert.
Yes.
graphic.
Put spoilers. Like, I'm sorry. No, it came out, guys. You gotta watch it. I'm sorry. It's a good. Listen, I love it.
Nah, it's been out for a year and a half. So listen.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The gag is, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I remember just like seeing that, and then like, I feel like, okay, there's like a real like element of Kai for me in the sense like that. And obviously I wanted to know, like, for you, your character, Izzy, like, so what, how did you fuck up? Like, what happened? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. When I saw the first 2 episodes, it does drive you in. I don't know. Even like the scene with you and Ricky in the bed and like you guys like smoking and having conversations. And one of the things I related to the most was your character was saying, well, like, you know, like, I'm gonna stack my bread up and stuff like that, and I'm gonna go back to LA, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then he's like, why can't you do it out here? You know? And I was the same way too. I remember when I came back from LA, I was like to myself, all right, I ain't saying I'm going to go back to LA specifically, but I was like saying to myself, like, I gotta get out of here. Cause I was like, when I was 23 when I left here.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time, I had an opportunity in LA, so I took it, of course. It was during COVID. But I remember I felt more of running away at that time because I just came out and I literally was like, I have no queer friends. I need to like live my life. I gotta find these people for me. I feel like I'm stuck in a box. I don't like to be complacent. Obviously, 2 years goes. I'm living my life in LA. Things happen. I come back. But I remember I kept saying to myself, like, I need that like euphoria. I need that high of like to just be there. But I love when Ricky said, like, you can do these things out here. You don't have to, like, you know, like make it for yourself. Because the only person stopping you is you.
Yeah.
And that hit me. I was like, damn. Just so
Yes. No, that's one of my favorite scenes. And the specific line, because I wrote that episode and I remember writing this line, and that's the ethos of the show, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, is it the place that's holding you back or is it you? And that really is at its core, and what we explore in the first season is what Izzy is going through. Like, he left because he felt like this place is holding him back. If he leaves and goes somewhere else, then he'll be free and he'll be able to do whatever he wants. But it's the thing of like realizing that it's your mentality that has you in shackles, not anybody else. Nobody can stop you from doing anything. If you want to do something, you can do it.
Yeah.
And New York City is not a bad place to be an actor. Like, and so, yeah, it's really realizing that. And so that's what we explore. And to your point of really loving the character Kai, I love to hear that. Kai's one of, I think, so many people's favorite characters. And my idea of why is because, and the idea of how I wrote Kai, how we wrote Kai in our writer's room, shout out to my co-writers, Darnell Dudley and Tay Jenkins, and our writer's assistant, V Starks, is they're unapologetic.
Yes.
Like, our log line for Natives is Natives follows a group of queer, unapologetic Native New Yorkers navigating adulting in the projects of New York City. And Kai is the most unapologetic of that group. And so I think they're magnetic because we as a society are constantly like hiding parts of ourselves to be, you know, societally acceptable.
Yeah.
And Kai is that character that breaks that all down. It's like, I don't give a fuck to be societally acceptable or socially acceptable. Like, I am going to be myself in any room that I enter in, and you're just going to accept that. And so I think that is what makes them magnetic. And like, having that intro of a moment, like, that's one of people's favorite scenes as well, and one of my favorite to write. And I just love seeing how it came to life, because that was literally how I wrote it. Like, it's supposed to stop people in their tracks and be like, who is this?
Yes.
You know, the shades, like everything. And I loved how it worked out that we were in the deli. You see the colors. It's just everything about that scene is gorgeous to me. And you start to see a little bit, this Kai comes off as this like tough, very like secure person. And I think they are, but you do see a little peek behind the wall or the curtains in episode 2, and you see them being a little bit more vulnerable. And to answer your question of what happened is really Izzy ghosted them, and Kai's mom passed away, and they weren't there. That's one of their best friends, and they weren't there because of Izzy's pride.
And with that being said, now obviously the show hasn't been on for a year and a half now.
Yes.
Because you know, I'm obviously I'm new to the show. I got introduced to it towards the end of last year.
I love that.
You know, no, I'm saying
End of
that's
2025.
Yes.
Yes. So it's new to you, which is good.
yeah, that's all that matters, y'all. But no, but I want to know if you don't mind me asking, between the gap of then to now,
Yeah.
what happened?
So 2 new episodes of Natives are coming out, episodes 3 and 4, before the end of the summer. So I'm excited about that. Stay tuned for anybody who's been waiting. We know it's been a while, but the reason it's been a while is because film is expensive.
Yep. I do a podcast. I know.
Listen.
I know.
Oh my gosh. And so, especially to do it independently, I'm gonna be completely transparent. You know, I don't know if I've said this like on a podcast before, so you might be getting the exclusive tea.
We like that.
But both episodes of Natives, the first 2 cost $40,000, and so yeah, it's not cheap. That is almost that's more than a down payment on a home.
Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
So, out of your pockets, like all your crew members had to put 40,000 down.
Oh, no way.
Like how y'all do like alone? Like what are we talking?
I'll explain it to you. Although
Okay.
I'm gonna give you guys a taste, because one thing is we have just launched our Natives Patreon, and so you can get the real tea and step by step on the Natives Patreon.
Period.
Right. Make sure you join that. But essentially, it was a mixture of crowdfunding was the majority of it. We crowdfunded. We had 2 crowdfunding campaigns to support our production. And that was because I was like, how am I going to get this money? You know, and I'm so impatient. I'm such an impatient person. And I was like, well, I don't want to wait. I'm not trying to wait for grants. Like, I was still applying, but I'm not trying to wait for these. I don't know how to navigate this as well. This is my first narrative project at this scope. And so this was very new to me. But I knew that I wanted to do it. I was so passionate about these stories that we wrote that I'm like, I gotta bring this to life. And so we crowdfunded, we raised $20,000. We actually surpassed our goal, which was so exciting. And it was just a real reminder that people want to see this kind of work.
Yeah.
And so we crowdfunded that, and that was half of it. I honestly didn't know what I was doing at the time. So I just said, let's crowdfund for $20,000, but we had not broken down the script to get a budget. So I didn't actually know how much the script costs to shoot. For me, raising $20,000, I thought we could shoot all 7 episodes. Little did I know.
No.
And so when we got a line producer to break down the scripts, they were like, oh, this is X amount. And I was like, oh, wow. And so majority was crowdfunding. I put in some of my own money because I was just passionate about telling the story. And then we got some more money through grants, specifically a grant that I had gotten because I was doing my work for Queer Voices, and we had established a partnership with an institution that seemed like they really were supporting independent work. So at that point, we had shot Natives, but we didn't have the money for post-production to edit it because we had gone over we had to add an extra shoot day because we missed some shots. So that extra shoot day, having all the crew come in, took all of our post-production budget.
Yeah.
Yes. And so luckily we connected with this institution. I pitched it. I was like, hey, I'm looking to finish this project. Here's what it's about. Like, would you have any money to support it? And they were like, well, how much do you need? I told them. They were like, okay. And that's how we got the last funds to really go through post-production, the editing phase, and then release it. So that's how that happened. And then throughout that time, it's been 2.5 years since we shot. Then it was 9 months until we released it, or until we started post-production. A year from when we shot it to when we released it. So we shot September 2023. We released October 2024. And now bringing us back to 2026, majority of this time has been spent finding money and a way to figure out how are we gonna do this and finish the season. And so it was really, I thought, let's do another crowdfunding campaign, because as a filmmaker, I support crowdfunding campaigns like whenever possible. It's a lot of work, but I think that one of the biggest things about a crowdfunding campaign outside of the money is it builds a community. And when you have that community, now you have built-in people who are going to watch your project and share it and advocate for you. And so that's something that you can't get in a lot of other ways, because if people don't know about it and you just are like, well, here's this thing that I created, you have to build that from the ground up. And so that's one thing that I really love about crowdfunding. And I was like, let's do another campaign. Our first one was successful. This is going to be another reminder to people that we're here, that we're still doing this. And at the core of it, that this is about community. Natives has been built on the backs of our community, giving us small amounts of money. Our average like donation amount is around like $50. And so imagine all of the people who have been giving to us. At this point, we've had over 350 people contribute money out of their pockets to give to us to make this project a reality. And so that is what we've been doing alongside just connecting. I feel our team has learned so much throughout the shooting of the first 2 episodes, and I've connected with so many people since releasing those episodes that it's really helped us to get to this point of crowdfunding. And now we got a grant that really kind of made up the remainder of it. And I'm not putting any more of my money into this because one thing I will recommend for filmmakers, no matter how much you love it, I would recommend crowdfunding or using other people's money, but I would avoid using your money unless you're very well off, because it can be a slippery slope.
It is. I mean, it's a gamble, because at a lot of times you have people who are artists that like do music, and they're like, a lot of them become homeless because it's like, it's a lot, you know? But I was wondering, like, during the time of it being in hiatus and you're about to do the crowdfunding, have you guys ever thought about like pitching it to networks and stuff like that to see maybe if they can pick up anything like that for you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, throughout this time that we've been on a hiatus, that has been another approach that we've been exploring. And I think our approach there was bringing on EPs. And so we honestly have had a few conversations with some, I feel like, bigger, well-known people in our community that have been really exciting. And they've given us really great feedback about the show. But one of them in particular, they had a show that was very similar that they were pitching. And so they were like, we love this show, but we have something that's just too similar. And then but the thing was getting a response even from them, because it's someone, I don't want to name them, but it's someone that I look up to a lot, and they are Black, queer, they're Afro-Latino, actually, queer. And so they're a pioneer, I feel like, in media as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I feel if you connect the dots, you can put who that is together. But then we had someone else who, again, in our community, because I really want to bring on people to champion this who are within our community.
Yeah.
You know, I'm open to having other people who really want to support this kind of work, but nothing beats having someone who really can like see themselves in your project, truly see themselves too, because I feel like that they're going to fight for this. And when other people make your project their baby just as much as it is for you, then like this is a good collaboration. And so we've spent a lot of time connecting with other EPs and trying to bring them on to bring us to that process of pitching, because the pitching process is not as easy as it sounds. Like, you really need to know, firstly, you need to either have an agent or a lawyer to send your materials to any production companies or studios, because those companies don't accept unsolicited material. So if you just email it to them, they will delete it, because they can be held liable if, let's say, they produce something similar to yours, or they already have something that they're producing that's similar to yours, because then you can be like, oh, well, they stole my idea. So to protect everyone, they don't open it and they delete it. And so you need someone who either is represented or who has a lawyer who can like get you in front of those people. So that's been our process of being like, who has the connections to bring us to that place. And so that is something we're still working towards. Again, we're only doing episodes 3 and 4. We have 7 created and written.
Okay.
And so we're gonna explore that as we release these next 2 episodes. But also in my heart, I want to produce all the episodes that we wrote, because they were written by me and the group of really incredible writers, and I think we have something that's really special. And I know that when it does get picked up by a streamer or etc., it will change, because they will have their own expectations of what they want to see and who they want to reach. And so for me, this is something that is so pure and so unapologetically like us, that I do want to see this through, as well as get it produced on a bigger level.
Mm.
But at this moment, I want to see the episodes that we wrote produced because, yeah, it's just so we did this with so much love that it would just make me feel fulfilled.
I mean, like I said, for me, like I saw a lot of myself in there, and not just because of Izzy's situation, but just like it feels so good to watch a show. And like I said, just from the first 2 episodes, I'm watching it. I'm like, damn, like this is like my kind of show. Because again, like I'm out here. A lot of my friends who are queer are still in LA, so it's
Yeah.
like I'm not really in that base world, to be honest with you. But like when I watch it, it feels good.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. I think that was what we created it for too. It's like it's supposed to be a feel-good show, you
It
know? It's a
is.
dramedy. It's more dramatic, but there's like lightness to it, you know? Like one of my favorite parts is the end of episode 2 where you see Adrian just vomiting
I know,
and
honestly.
then it just ends.
For you to bring your friend though to like the apartment because he was like, I'm not lying, like I was gonna see it, but like oh boy over here, you know.
Come on, like he had to. I mean, you know, a lot of people say what you will. A lot of people dislike Izzy, and I won as a writer. I love that.
Why?
Well, because they think he's an asshole, you know, and I can't say they're wrong.
They ain't wrong.
He is, you
but,
know,
like-
he's selfish. But as a writer, I love that because not every character needs to be likable. We relate a lot of times to some of the most unlikable characters because we ourselves know that we have unlikable traits
We
within
all do.
us, and we all want to appear as the most likable people though a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so it's like we hide those like unlikable traits for the most part, and then are we really showing up as our full selves? And I think no matter what, Izzy does show up as his full self, even if people dislike him.
Right.
And so that is something that I love about Izzy, and I feel like in a way I learn a little bit from Izzy as playing him and as writing about him, or writing for him, because that is something that is kind of a quality I admire. But people dislike him because of that. And so, yeah, I think that, I don't know where I was going with that, but we'll cut it there.
So I have a question. Is it like, for me, I want to know, like now that you're filming 3 and 4 later this month,
Yeah.
is there anything you can tease about like 3 and 4 in a sense for storylines?
Yeah, sure. So Natives is essentially an anthology series, or it's written in an anthology format. And so the through line is Izzy's story arc, but each episode does follow a different character. You see episode 1 is Izzy, episode 2 is Kai, episode 3, we get a little bit more of a peek into Jazz's world, and episode 4 is a little bit of a bigger peek into Adrian's world. And then from there on, you see a few of the other characters. And so the reason I chose that format was because we had a digital series, and it needs to be short, which 15 minutes is not too short, to be honest. But still, I was like, if we're writing within these certain parameters, and we have this ensemble show, because I love ensemble shows, like how do we get people to really understand who these characters are and connect with them on a deeper level? And so I was like, well, let's make each episode about that particular character. There will be this through line still of Izzy's story, his overall story arc for us to follow, but each episode will follow this character. And so we learn a little bit more about them. And so episode 3 follows Jazz, and Jazz is the daughter of immigrant parents. She's first generation. She has a very good tech job, but that's not really her desire. Her desire is really being a hairstylist. She does wigs, she makes custom wigs, she installs them on people, and she loves the feeling that she gets when these people feel themselves, you know, when they feel their best, and also being able to just like make people feel good. And so that is something that brings her a lot of joy. But with her immigrant parents, like, and their mentality, they're like, that's not a real job, you know? And so she gets this corporate job essentially to please them. And she makes the most money out of the whole group. And you would think that because she makes the most money, like she's happy, but she's not doing what she wants to do.
Yeah.
She's doing it for other people as well. And so it takes her kind of like realizing that, and also talking it through with her friends to really decide if she's going to continue on that path or is she going to make a change. And so that is a little preview. I'll leave it there of where episode 3 kind of goes. And then episode 4 is I love episode 4. I love all the episodes, but episode 4 is probably the most comedic of the bunch. It's
Okay.
set on Thanksgiving Day, and I love a show that's set on Thanksgiving because you know that there's gonna be some mess. I love Thanksgiving episodes. Like Gossip Girl's Thanksgiving episode, I think it's like the 3rd season or so, is probably one of my favorite Thanksgiving episodes on TV because it's so chaotic, and that's also an ensemble show. One of my favorite shows. But that episode follows the character of Adrian, who is the only non-native, and he's really exploring what it's like to be in New York. He has distanced himself. So in a way, he's a bit similar to Izzy because he's distanced himself because he has an interesting relationship with his mom, and he is trying to figure out who he is, like on his own, without having to constantly be there to support other people. And so
you really hit some tones in this.
and so
sorry, no.
No, I love that you're feeling it.
Yeah, it's we can all relate.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but it's continue. Sorry.
No. You're all good. But this really is, like, who am I? Who am I on my own in a new place, and when I can shape like who I want to be? And also, one of the things that he is like really struggling with is how do I distance myself from this environment I grew up in without also becoming just like the people that I'm running away from? And that's one of the things that he's struggling with. I'll leave it at that because I want to say more, but I feel like it'll give it away. But I'll leave it at that. It's one of the things he's struggling with is like, how do I distance myself without becoming this? And am I becoming this? And so he has to grapple with, am I becoming this? And if so, like, what do I do then? Because this is not the person I want to be.
You're creating conversations.
Yeah. Each episode, and that's another exciting thing about being able to focus on each character. Like, these people are dealing with real situations, and I feel like each of these characters are parts of me, parts of people that I know, which is amazing because I think that everyone can see themselves in each episode.
No, literally. I hope you're really proud of yourself, man, with that. Seriously.
Thank you so much.
I really feel like listening to you about it, I'm just like, damn, like you're gonna win, obviously.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Listen, you're gonna win as well. I'm rooting for all of us to win.
We're all gonna win. Stop playing. I already know that.
But we're rooting for everybody black.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, obviously, like, it takes a village for the show, right?
Yes.
So I want to know, like, how do you choose your collaborators for just in general when you do like this type of work? Because you mentioned them a little earlier already, but I kind of want to know like the process of like how you guys work together.
Yeah. So I think it kind of came together organically. Like I mentioned, I didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning of this. Like, I just wrote something. Originally it was a 44-page pilot, and it's because I saw this pilot competition, and it was during COVID. And I was like, well, I don't have much to do.
You got time.
I don't like being idle. Like, I need to be productive because otherwise I'm like, what are you doing? And so it's a blessing and a curse. But I wrote this pilot and I was like, wait, I kind of like this. I submitted it to the pilot competition and I didn't get in, but I got feedback that said, like, this world that you're building is really colorful. Keep going and keep building upon it. And so that lit the fire under me to keep writing this because I was like, wow, I really love this comment. Somebody recognized it. And so I shared it with a few people. One of those people was one of the co-writers and also the creative producer, Darnell Dudley. And he really loved it. He's from New York, from the Bronx. And he was like, well, how can we make this happen? And so I was like, I don't really know. And so I was a part of a bunch of Facebook groups at the time. This is like 2020, actually. This is 2020. And I created a pitch deck and everything because I did my homework. Like, one thing about me is I will do my homework on what needs to happen because I thought I was immediately going to sell it. I was like, this script is the best thing best thing out there right now. This is immediately going to go on a streaming service, but that was so naive of me. And so I went on a bunch of Facebook groups and I was like, hey guys, I have this series that I'm working on and I really want to bring it to life. If I need a producer to help me because I don't know what I'm doing. And so our director and now producer, Brittany Franklin, who directed episodes 1 and 2, she hit me up and she was like, hey, I would love to talk a little bit more. I saw your post and I really liked the story of what you said. And so let's chat. I sent her my pitch deck and then she hopped on as the director. And there's a lot that happened during that time. We were going to shoot like one scene of it and it didn't happen because our DP backed out 3 days before we were going to shoot.
Oh no.
Because it was one of the first winter spikes of COVID. So I understand. I was just so bummed out though. And I literally remember calling Brittany sobbing on the phone and being like, this is not gonna happen. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, feeling like my dreams were dead. And she was like, just take a breath. Like, relax. Like, we can still make this happen. It might not happen now, but we can still make it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like we can, we have time.
Yes, we can.
I'm such an all or nothing person. and so it's like now or never. And so I was like, okay, we do. And I'm grateful that happened because it wouldn't be what it is now, honestly, had we just done that. It probably would have been, my idea was to shoot this scene of the episode and go on to pitch it. And it wouldn't be this web series. And so everything happens at the time that it should. And she came on. And then for our crew, we brought on our DP, Ari Cooper, at the time, who then also helped out as a producer, and they helped us crew up. And so our core leadership team was kind of facilitated through me and organic relationship building just by putting myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual crewing up was in collaboration with my DP / producer at the time, Ari Cooper, as well. And yeah, that was because I really didn't know what that even looked like. So I needed some guidance too. I'm not afraid to ask for help.
That part.
But now I think I know more. And so I get to be a little bit more intentional. And this time around, for episodes 3 and 4, like, it's been really exciting to figure out who our collaborators are. We're working with a new director. We're going to announce who that is soon. I'm really, really excited about her. She has amazing, amazing work. And yeah, I'm just excited to elevate these episodes. And now I know a lot more film people. People are hitting us up because they've seen the show. And so we get to like really look through these people and be a lot more intentional. I think last time was just finding people who could just help us get it done.
Mm-hmm.
This time it's about finding people who we're excited to work with and that can help us elevate the project, but also who are in line with like our community and really relying on community to find who's the right people. And one of our other collaborators I want to shout out is we're working with The Content House as our co-production company,
Mm-hmm.
who are a woman-led queer production company. So really excited to be collaborating with them as well.
Nice. Now, obviously, you just said earlier you're all or nothing.
Yes.
First of all, why?
Well, I think that's just the way my brain works. I don't know. I think I have to think about that. But for me, yeah, I think I'm just like, it's now or never. And I don't have chill. I got no chill. And I need to sometimes learn to be a little bit more calm. And maybe because I'm constantly on the go. Like, my brain is in my body too. I'm always just going and doing stuff. Versus sometimes I need to slow down and remember that not everything has to be done at the same time.
Yeah.
And not everything has to be done right now.
But is it hard for you to sit still then, basically?
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's why, like, during the pandemic, I could have been kicking my feet up and just relaxing, you know?
Right.
But instead, I was over here renovating my apartment, writing natives, creating my production company, you know, which is all great things as well.
Of course, no, it's productive. But I always wonder, because sometimes, like, I'm the same way. Like, I can't sit still. But I had to eventually, like, sit still for a second. And sometimes, like, is it because maybe like your thoughts go wild, or maybe do you feel like unproductive, or maybe you just kind of look at yourself and realize, like, damn, like, is this my life? Like, I don't know. Like, I wonder, like, what kind of like feeling do you have with that? I'm curious. And when people say that, I always like try to like really dig deep with that.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm definitely down to unpack, and you're making me think about this in a deeper way than I typically do. I think for me too, it's because we only got one life. I'm not getting younger, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm also in an industry that is very difficult.
Yeah.
And the sacrifice is glorified in this industry as well. I think in some ways it's necessary, but I do think in other ways it is glorified, as well as the hustle, you know? And I'm at the age, now where I just turned 30, and I feel like it's hitting me,
Yes,
when
30.
people say, come on, 30. I'm really excited about it, to be honest. Like, I think I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more confident in everything about myself. And so it's a beautiful space to be in. And I'm also just remembering that I'm not where I wanted to be at this time, but that is okay. Because I think that my aspirations when I was like 19 were a little unrealistic.
Who wasn't?
I'm realizing that now. And I think one of the biggest things that Natives has taught me too is that I don't have to stress over timelines that I can't control. I will only, I will only focus on the things that I can control, because I don't like the stress that I bring myself. Why am I bringing it to myself? I also am not in a rush for anything. I think that I'm more intentional about how I'm stepping into things. I am really in a space of abundance, and like when it's meant to happen, it will happen. The biggest thing I can focus on is doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
And doing what feels true to me. And as long as I'm doing that, everything else will fall into place. So I think that, yes, the reason that I'm all or nothing and I'm slowly trying to step out of that is because I feel like I'm not getting any younger, and I have to work hard for this industry that I want to be in. And it's not easy, but I don't want to overwork myself and run myself into the ground and stop enjoying it also. And so that is like what I'm kind of navigating.
That's like the balance, basically, is
Yeah.
what you need. Because, like I said, like I think I get that. I'm kind of the same way a little bit too. Because I took a little quick like hiatus from my podcast because it's like, listen, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of investment, it's a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, bills got to be paid, things have to be happening, and sometimes you're seeing like, okay, I see like a bit of like momentum with it, but also at times it's like I need more. But I realize it's okay to step away, take care of you. Like for me, like I went to the Philippines. Like I got to like enjoy that for 9 days, and then like come back. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get back to work and stuff like that. But also, I was like, I know I'm not getting younger. I'm 29, so I got one more year till I hit 30.
Yeah.
But I just kept saying to myself, like, I gotta have a healthy balance. Because before, it's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm going to burn out. And I burned out many times before, and I resented it. Like photography, I'm a photographer. And I've done like so many gigs and portraits, and sometimes I'm like, damn, why am I not up there with these people? Or I'm working my ass off. I'm doing these YouTube tutorials for Photoshop. I'm taking these classes. I'm giving people a good decent like rates and stuff like that. But I was like, damn. And I for a while resented it.
Yeah.
And it's real. So that's why I had to take a step back again and realize like, you love this. This is what you want to do. So I had to slowly get back into it. Now I'm releasing a website again. Now I'm releasing more content with it, like as I keep going. But again, the balance is what helped me. And also therapy.
Nice.
Are you in therapy?
I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy since I was like 18.
I wish I got into therapy when I was about 25 and a half. And I wish that like I was there sooner. But unfortunately, I'm not in it no more because, your boy is doing a lot better. But I'm telling you, you just have to really find that balance. And I get it's hard because because in this industry, you do have to like really grind. You have to break those doors. I understand that. But real talk, man, like your mental health is more important than to just like, because you're doing a great, and in my opinion, from what it looks like from the outside, obviously, like, I don't know you very well, but I just think like what you're doing thus far is amazing and it's great and inspiring. Half these people can't tell you like shit, honestly, of what you're doing. You did more than the other person's doing right now. Seriously.
No, I appreciate that. And I received that. Thank you. I 100% agree. Therapy is amazing. It has helped me be the self-aware person that I am today, and also helped me find this chill that I'm seeking. And so I think therapy is something I recommend for everyone. It helps you build the tools to be your best self, I think, at its core. And so who doesn't want to be their best selves? And then I think the last thing to your point is just when you're an independent artist, well, I think the last thing to say to your point is just when you're an independent artist, you're your own boss. And so it's hard to find balance when you're your own boss because, especially in America, it's such a hustle culture. And I think when you are an independent artist, there is also that need. You're like, well, everyone else is working hard, or the stories that we hear is like, I slept in my car, like I did this and this to get there, but it was all worth it. And I think that, continues to perpetuate the hustle kind of culture mentality. And it's also when you grow up in poverty too, and then you're an independent artist, it's like, well, I just want some money. Like, how can I get to this point if I don't work hard? And so I think it's all of those things as well that I'm, again, learning to just like rid, because I am doing what I need to do. I'm doing the best that I can, and that's all that I can control. And that realization has helped my mental health tremendously, because, I'm going to keep it real with you. Despite the accomplishments of Natives and the other projects that I have going on, like last year, 2025, was not a very good year for me mentally, for my mental health. I feel that I was just like, go, go, go. I had just gotten a full-time job, which I was working at a restaurant already. And so I then added a full-time job on top of that, on top of running my film festival or co-running it with my business partner, Brandon Smith. And then also figuring things out of how we're going to get into production for Natives. And I'm also my younger sister's guardian. And so like all of these things combined that I'm balancing, like, I was working 7 days a week since last April to January of this year. And I was just like, I didn't have any moment to really reflect on like, how am I feeling? It was just like, go, 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 go. And when I did have the chance to reflect, which was December 31st, New Year's Eve. And I was like, how did you feel that this year? Like, a lot of great things happened. And I wrote those things down, but I was like, how did I feel? And all I could think about was like, I don't know how I felt. And so I feel like I felt pretty numb, because I didn't really have the time and the space to really just sit with these accomplishments, to pat myself on the back, which is another kind of flaw of mine. I'm kind of like, all right, well, what's next?
On the go, basically.
Yes. And so this year, like, I had to change that, because these are things that I love. Like, the creative projects that I have are supposed to make me feel fulfilled. And if it's not, what am I doing it for? And so I had to really make that realization. And I ended up getting let go from my restaurant job early into the new year, after telling myself I want to get something off my plate, but I didn't know what. And then that happened the next week. That was my ancestors letting me know. And so then I lost that. And my immediate guttural reaction was like, well, what are you going to do now? Like, finding a new job. But I was like, no, like, I want to have a full-time job, like, luckily. But you wanted something to be taken off your plate. So like, let it be taken off your plate before you jump into something else and see how it goes. And so this year I'm all about prioritizing my creativity and pouring into it, more of it with the extra time that I have, rather than like trying to fill it,
Well, that's a lot. No, seriously. Like, I didn't even know, like, even like being a guardian to your sister too.
Yeah,
it's like that adds. You know me asking, how old is she?
She's 16, and she's been with me since she was 13. So yes, it's been a huge adjustment for me, but I'm also so grateful for that experience, because my sister has taught me so much about myself. She reminds me I need some chill as well, because there was a comment that she made where she was like, you're always working, and that didn't sit right with me, because for me, then that means to her, I don't have enough. That equated to me, I don't have enough time for her, or I'm not showing up for her enough. And so those are realizations where it's like, okay, like, work is not everything. I also have to be intentional about time with the people that I care about, because at the end of the day, if I die tomorrow, like, it's the relationships and the memories that I built, not the work, nobody. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you just said that after you lost your serving job, that was like kind of a thing being lifted off your plate, basically.
Yeah.
But I want to know exactly like what things started coming towards your way this year.
So yeah, I'm a big believer that everything happens as it should. And this year, I started the year off being very intentional that I'm going to prioritize creativity, acting, writing, the things that inspire me, because the past 2 years or so have been like my building stages, where I've been very administrative, not as creative. And I got into this through the creative side of it, and that is what inspires me. So I needed to return back to those roots. And so I lost my serving job, and I was like, well, rather than getting another job to fill this time, how about I try and make up the money that I lost in creative ways? And so I'm going to start applying to more acting jobs. You know, I'm going to be putting more time into natives and into queer voices because those are things that I'm building that I see have promise and that could be lucrative for me too. So my challenge for myself, because I need something to drive me, is I lost about $20,000 from my restaurant job, which was like only 2 days a week. And so I was like, well, now my challenge is making up $20,000 through creativity. And so I have been putting myself out there more. I booked 2 acting roles that are shooting throughout this time, which is so funny because I asked for these things, but they're happening like 2 weeks apart each shoot.
Simultaneously.
And so I was like, I asked for them, but I didn't ask for it all at once, but we're going to still make it happen.
We love the universe.
Exactly. I'm still grateful for it nonetheless. They're blessings. And that has been really rewarding for me because I have not just acted in a while. My last acting gig, I believe, was Natives back in 2023. And before that, it was a while because I had a manager and I was in 2021, I was going on the biggest auditions I had ever gotten in my career. I was going for series regular auditions pretty consistently too, but none of the stories were really speaking to me. And I was really excited about Natives. And so I told my manager I want to take a break. Which was scary for me because I'm like, what if I'm missing out on that show or that lead role that can change my life? But I had to sit with myself and remind myself that whatever is meant for me will be for me.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, that's what I felt I needed. And so I did that. And then I really have been working hard on producing Natives. And so this time around, it's about getting back into acting and putting myself out there again. I booked these 2 roles. They're for 2 short films, and I'm really excited about that. That's just the beginning. I'm excited to continue submitting myself and just being talent. Honestly, like if you ever have just been talent on a set, talent is the most cushy job. Yes, you have to do your prep work behind, and then it's emotionally intensive, like when you're shooting.
Right.
But listen, you just get on set, you kind of wait around for everyone to just let you know where to be. Most of your job as talent is just waiting for things to get ready for you to go and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been so in my producer mindset, creator, where I'm on set and I'm doing everything too. I'm talent, but then I'm also producing, but then I'm also helping move stuff because we gotta reset this quickly. And so I forgot what it's like to just show up on set and then just be called, when you're ready for you, read your lines. And that is such a nice feeling. And also just to explore my creativity in a different way outside of my own creations, because what other people create, especially independent creators, really inspires me too. And so I've been in this realm of like, I'm feeling reinvigorated. I'm feeling inspired again. And it's because I am putting myself out there and allowing that to come to me. But also I'm like reading works from other people. I'm like helping them bring their works to life. I'm always scoping out like how their sets work now as a producer too. And so that's just been really fun.
I love that, man. Now, I have a cool game for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we're going to do a little rapid fire, guys, okay? All right. I have 4 questions for you, okay?
Okay.
All right. A film that changed your life.
Sorry, I got to think about this. I feel like a film that changed my life, you did mention it earlier, is Moonlight. I think Moonlight was one of the first like real depictions of like Black queerness.
Yes.
In different ways that I have ever seen. And also, I think it was the closest thing to public housing that I think I had ever seen. And so 1, it's just a gorgeous film. But then 2, I think those intersections really was like, okay, I see more of myself represented. That was cool. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Moonlight.
Come on, Barry Jenkins.
A story you wish you told sooner.
A story I wish I told sooner. I'm actively working on it right now, but I'm writing a feature which is inspired by my relationship with me and my sister. And it's essentially at its core about sibling love and learning from each other. And so that I'm really excited about it, but I haven't told it yet, but I wish I told it sooner or earlier because
You know,
it's
you got the exclusive, girl.
Yeah, it's something I've been working on and I've lived through for a long time, and I think it'll be really powerful. I know it'll be really powerful because there's not many stories about sibling love.
I'm a twin, so I'm you know, like, that's true. Though. I can't wait to watch that. Dream collaborator.
Dream collaborator. Ooh, I want to say that is gonna be. I have a few. It's
Go
gonna
ahead.
be Coleman Domingo.
Yes.
It's going to be Issa Rae. Listen, I want to be on Abbott Elementary. So Quinta Brunson.
You watching Quinta? Let's blow this up seriously.
Come on.
I can see his little teacher. Stop playing.
I would love that.
Or Jacob's partner.
He does love, you know, him some color folks
You
on
know
the
what I'm
show.
saying?
They love to put him with.
That's true though.
Oh my God, Issa! Did I say Issa Rae? I think I might have said it. There's a few for sure. I would say Donald Glover too. I admire his career so much because all of these people are multi-hyphenates.
I'm telling you, you got a great list. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
He's coming, man. All right. One word for this season of your life.
Blossoming.
Good.
It's spring. And, you know, for me, I think that this has been a bit of a reflective time for me. And again, I'm going through change where I'm really shifting my mindset around things and I'm not compromising on my piece for anybody or anything, really. And I'm being very firm in that, which has been difficult for me before. And so I think that this season I am blossoming into who I'm ready to become, especially at 30 in this new decade for me.
I love that. And now my last question for you. But first off, thank you again so much for coming on this podcast. I appreciate you, man. You're amazing, man. Just the way you are, man.
Thank you for having me. I feel the same about you.
You know, we trying. What we're doing. We're doing.
Come on.
Not trying, doing. But I want to know is like, what would you tell your younger self right now?
I think what I would tell my younger self is to just chill out. Like, chill out. You know what you want to do. I've known what I've wanted to do since so young, and I've been doing it, you know? And it has led me to places that I had never imagined that I would be and doing things that I never imagined that I would do. My full-time job that I have right now is because of natives and the connections that I made through natives. So I would just say, like, relax a little bit, you know, trust yourself, have fun, and work is not everything, you know, because we need experiences in order to create and to feel inspired. And if we're locked in all the time feeling like, oh, I got to do this, you're not allowing your brain like the space to like exist, to absorb. So just chill out because you're going to be fine. You're going to be where you need to be.
Because we gonna be all right.
Come on.
You know? All right, Ronald, can you please tell your camera all the things you have coming up right now, please?
Yes. So Natives episodes 3 and 4 are shooting later this month. You will get those before the end of the summer. So just binge watch episodes 1 and 2 right now. Make sure you check out our after shows. More after shows are coming. We got a lot. This is going to be a laundry list. We have our Patreon, which is now live. So head to the Natives, the series on our Instagram. You can find our Patreon in the link in bio or Google Natives, the series Patreon. We're dropping merch, which I'm excited about. We got a hoodie that's coming. It's a Natives OG hoodie. I'm really excited about that. That was really, it's a really beautiful and intentionally designed hoodie by a Black queer artist whose name is Tyler West. Shout out Tyler. Thank you so much for helping us create this. Also, you know, with Queer Voices, we are still accepting submissions. So that Queer Voices is a film festival that I co-founded, and we center and celebrate LGBTQIA+ queer filmmakers of color. And yeah, we're accepting submissions now until May 17th. Our film festival usually happens every September. This year it's September 10th to the 13th. So make sure you look out for that if you're a filmmaker or you just like to watch queer films. That's a decent amount of what I got going on.
Listen.
And then just trying to live my best life.
And that's it. And I love it. And also, last thing. I'm going to shoot my shot real quick with this. So listen, ever need like an extra or a stand-in or a body double or something like that for natives, I'm your boy.
Listen, okay. Well, again, we're shooting, so we're looking for extras. So we definitely need to chat a little bit more. Yeah, I'll let you know. And also, if anyone else is interested in being an extra, although by the time this comes out, I'm not sure if we'll need you.
Sorry, application denied.
So maybe scratch that.
That part.
So you can stay up to date with all things natives by following us at Natives the Series across all platforms except X. It's Natives_series. And also Queer Voices. Follow us at Queer Voices NYC. And then for me personally, you can follow me at Ronald Thomas Hinton across all platforms.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again for watching the show. I appreciate you, Ronald, for coming on, man. Like the conversations you bring and just who you are as a person. You're a star, man. You already know that. And I can't wait to see what you have going on more, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. Thank you for inviting me, for watching the show, for expressing like your love for the show. I really appreciated this, and I appreciate you, Ivory.
All right, thank you, man. I can't wait for 3 and 4. I'm telling you, just like by the tidbits you already have already, man. Like I'm like, especially 4 now. I'm like, okay. All right, guys. Again, thank you guys again for watching so much. You can stream all of Getting Older podcast episodes on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. We're on iHeartRadio, and of course YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.